Ayo, the situation in the world of One Piece is absolutely catastrophic, and I'm here to talk about it. Let's go. So, from the latest chapters, we understand that Marijoa is in trouble, and the main reason why actually Im came to Elbaf is because Im wanted the God's Knights to actually come back and help them in Marijoa so that they can fight off whoever the opponent is in Marijoa. And from what I know, I can probably guess a couple people. And hear me out until the end so that you can make your own opinion as well, and you can comment down below what you think about it too. But from what Imsama said, it said that Marijoa is in deep trouble. A couple options are in hand, and the first option that everybody wants to talk about, for example, is, of course, Dragon. Dragon is finally getting into the action of it. Dragon is finally fighting because, just like you said, just like remember, he said at some point, as soon as the God's Knights are gonna be in the game, in the battlefield as well, and they're gonna be actively doing stuff around the world, that's when Dragon is gonna be starting to do stuff as well. And from what we know, from literally the evidence we have from what some of the latest chapters, we know that Dragon has already been attacking Marijoa, not literally, but figuratively, you know. He hasn't been attacking them directly, like, you know, face to face, he's going at them and he's, you know, fighting off one after the other or whatever. No, not that case. But what he's doing is that at the bottom of the red line, he is actually capable of intercepting some of the ships that are bringing food towards the red line so that the food gets delivered to the celestial dragons in Marijoa, you know. So Dragon is completely disrupting this whole system by intercepting those ships. And why do we know that? We know that because we saw the reaction of the celestial dragons all the way up there, and they were pissed. They were like, yeah, we don't have that for dinner, we don't have this for lunch, we don't have this for breakfast. Literally, they are just complaining over creme brulee as a dessert for this for dinner, you know, which is completely absurd, but that's the level of complaining they do, you know. And so as these literally gods of the One Piece world, they should not be lacking literally anything in the world of One Piece. And that's why for them it's such a shame and it's such a big deal that they cannot even enjoy their delicacies every day and all of that shit, you know. While other people in the One Piece world are completely dying from hunger, you know. It's a complete unjust and unequal system in a way, you know. And so in this option, just like I said, so Dragon might be the one who's actually attacking right now. And maybe he stopped going at it just as an indirect attack towards the celestial dragons, but he's actually now going at it as a direct attack, and he's going into the full confrontation against the celestial dragons, and most specifically the God's Knights. And in the God's Knights on Marijoa, we have a couple opponents as well. From who we know, we just know Shamrock. Other than that, we have, my guess, 5 more God's Knights that are probably in Marijoa. Maybe they are somewhere else in the world doing something else, but from my guess, on Elbaf, there's already 3 God's Knights. So the rest of them are on Marijoa, so 7 of them in total. Other than Shamrock, we don't know 6 of them, I think. And in that fight, maybe Dragon is actually in the fight with all of his commanders and with Sabo and all of that. And maybe the actual war, in a way, his war started already, and maybe it's a little attack and then they will retreat at some point until Im comes back or something like that. So we'll see. That was for the option number 1. Now for option number 2, we have Blackbeard. Blackbeard is a high potential as well, because from it, literally from even one of the animes, we were capable of seeing his number 2. You know, the guy, I don't remember his name, but it's the guy who has the devil fruit where he has literally wings and he can fly basically, and he's a mime. But watch out from that mime. That mime is very dangerous. He's gonna be able to cut you and you don't even know it. And so from one of the latest episodes in One Piece, we could see him right at the bottom of Marijoa, and he was watching Marijoa closely, like, oh, what is actually going on in there, and taking taking notes and all of that, because maybe, and at the same time he was talking on the phone to Blackbeard. So they were kind of on the heads up of, yes, we're maybe planning something, or we're maybe waiting for something to happen so that they can join, you know? And Blackbeard, of course, he is, of course, absolutely capable of that. So from option number 2, maybe it's Blackbeard, maybe it's his number 2 that gave him the signal to actually start attacking Merigeois at this point in time, and that's what they've been doing, you know. And if that's the case, Blackbeard versus him, I totally want to see that happening, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but from total guesses, Im can totally wipe down Blackbeard from literally the powers that we've been seeing lately, you know. And especially with the God's Knights versus the crew of Blackbeard, I don't know who's going to be able to win, you know. That's going to be a very tough battle, very tough result to actually give you guys. I will let you guess what would happen in that fight in the comments below. Let me know what you think. So in our option number 2, just like I said, we have Blackbeard. And now let's move on to option number 3. Where now this is very interesting, because why is it interesting? Maybe we have a combination of dragon that actually started attacking Merigeois directly, but at the same time Blackbeard, with the help of his number 2, he gave the heads up to Blackbeard that dragon was actually attacking, and that's the perfect moment to go and confront them as well. So maybe in that fight you will have dragon and Blackbeard versus the world government, meaning the God's Knights, and probably the Marines at some point as well, like the admirals, for example. In that fight, let me know who you think is going to be able to win that fight. The side of Im or the side of Blackbeard plus dragon. Let me know, because that fight would be absolutely crazy to watch, I'm telling you. And on the other side of the coin, we have the Marines. The Marines are completely all over the board. We don't know the Marines, like what they are actually thinking. And for the Marines, we have 2 sides. The good Marines, the bad Marines. The Marines that are, for example, in the sword, that are not listening to the direct orders from the world government, and they're kind of going towards justice, in a way, the right justice. And we have the per se bad ones that are still in the Marines, following those kind of orders of the world government from Im-sama, you know, the devil himself, in a way. So literally their whole situation is kind of all over the place. We don't know who to trust per se, and it feels like the Marines need themselves to make a decision on what is actually the right justice to take. Is it actually okay to keep on going the way they are, or should they reform some of the stuff they've been actually doing? And that could be actually very helpful towards the future of the Marines, you know. And if Kobe becomes one day an admiral, he might do something about it, you know. And from there we move on to the Cross Guild. The Cross Guild have been very active lately. We have Shanks, we have Crocodile and Buggy, all in the same side and all in the same crew. And they, with the bounties, they were actually able to give out to the world so that the chase for the Marines starts. I am telling you, that crew is very active, and I will not actually be surprised if in the latest future, in the like the near future, for example, after the story of Elbaf is finished and Luffy and all of that are going towards their next destination, which might be Lodestar. Maybe Buggy will actually see him over there, and they will be fighting to get to the One Piece at that point. But from where Buggy and the Cross Guild is nowadays, they're still fighting off some of the, you know, the Marines that they can capture and all of that, and they pay some of the people that capture those Marines and all of that. But other than that, Buggy absolutely encouraged everybody to actually go for the One Piece. So the race is on, you know. And the same can be said for Shanks. Shanks, I'm saying that we might actually meet him on Roadstar. Like literally the island where you are right before going to the One Piece. I believe that a lot of people are actually going to meet up at Roadstar, but only one person or or like only 1 or 2 crews are gonna have the clues to go over there, and one person can read it, and it's Robin. So they have to kind of follow in a way. But the one to actually discover the One Piece might be Luffy, you know? And with that, we also have the Big Mom Pirates, which are gonna be controlled, for example, what I think is gonna be Katakuri. Katakuri is going to be their new captain, for example, because in a way he's the strongest they have. If that truly happens, I believe Katakuri will be a future ally to Luffy and his crew and all of his armada in a way. And if that happens, maybe he can be a companion towards going to find the One Piece or something like that, you know? That is a very big possibility, and from speculation, all of them are still probably are on Big Mom's islands, and they are probably forming themselves so that they can start actually going on adventures and going out of where they are, because you know they don't have Big Mom's protection anymore, just like Kaido's ex employees in a way. Some of them we don't know where they are, but the most of them, they are actually either in a prison, in a jail in Wano Kuni, or they are working for the new shogun, for example, you know. And after all of that, we don't forget, just like Vegapunk said, the level of the water is gonna explode and keep on rising and rising and rising, and it's gonna rise by like 200 meters. So from there, we know that a bunch of kingdoms already went through an uprising because of the announcement that was made, like, and they were probably like 12 uprising, I believe. And from all of that, we can also see that the people have had enough in a way of whatever is going on, whatever secrets are going on, and people want to know and want to defend themselves and protect themselves from whatever, you know, whatever's coming. And if you tell me that the level of the water is going to raise by like 200 meters, that's a lot. And maybe we can do some calculations, because if one shot of that weapon, it raises it by 1 meter, so 200 shots are going to be set on the One Piece world, which is pretty terrible, you know. But from here we can already see, you know, the people starting to uprise and think for themselves, and you know, think that something is actually going on, and that's actually good for everybody. But hopefully everybody's gonna be making it in time, you know. And with that, let's not forget about all of Luffy's armada, because all of Luffy's armada is very big. And for now, until today, I think that it's at like 5,600 people. But just like in one of the videos I made on the channel, I listed actually all of the allies to Luffy, and I came up with the final number in that video. So go watch that video, and that way you can see the actual number of allies that Luffy and all of his friends actually have around the world of One Piece, you know. So Luffy's armada is going to be doing a lot of trouble in the future, and we are waiting for it to happen. And not just that, but they also need to discover a lot more poneglyphs, because yes, Robin has some information about what happened through some of the poneglyphs, but she doesn't have the whole story yet, and we still need a whole lot of poneglyphs, like 30 or whatever. So I don't know how the story is gonna go. I don't know if there's some information on poneglyphs on the library of Elbaf, which is already burning, and hopefully it stops burning. But hopefully there's some information already over there of like a couple poneglyphs that Robin can read and accumulate to all of the story that she has. And that way, after that, she can discover just a few more, and then that's it. She's got the whole real poneglyph in a way. And that was the situation in the whole world of One Piece. I know, it's pretty terrible, but hopefully we can make it by the end of the story. And I will be here until the end of the story to let you know on how all of this is gonna go, you know. And on that note, don't forget guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think the best situation for the world of One Piece is. And I will see you on the next one.